Hello everyone, my name is Stega, and today I wanted to try doing something a little different. I've recently gotten into 3D printing thanks to my dad who introduced me to it in the first place. I'm in no way an expert when it comes to 3D printing, but I do have a basic understanding of the process of both resin and FDM printing. However, my knowledge and experience lies mostly with resin printing. I 3D printed a plethora of models from the internet, many of which I used for a D&D campaign that I DM'd for my friends in college. All of these, a lot of these models include monsters from the Monster Hunter series, such as my highlight for today's video. Many of these monsters from the Monster Hunter series, I use the Monster Hunter Monster Manual, and I apologize if I butcher the name, Amoen's Guide to Monster Hunting Books by Amoen, and I will link those in the description down below if you want to check those out for yourself. Today, however, I want to showcase one of my first Monster Hunter models that I 3D printed by TotarinModels, who you can find on Facebook, Twitter/X, Instagram, Patreon, Reddit, and Cults3D, whose links will also be down in the description below. The model I wanted to show in today's video is the Ceadeus or Ceadeus monster from Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, Monster Hunter Tri, and Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. This is one of Totarin's first 3D models they had made, and this is the first one I personally had bought. The price was only $3, which is, I believe, a really small price to pay in order to get access to not just one model, but 3 different posed models, which I will show later. The 3 different models include this first pose, which you see here, which is the attacking pose. It looks a lot more aggressive and menacing compared to the other poses. The second pose is a more passive, coiled up pose. And if I can edit this properly, they will appear on the screen now. And then the last one is a more neutral pose of the monster turning in one direction. My personal favorite is the attack pose, which I'm choosing to show off today. It's mainly because for when I plan to use it in my D&D campaign, I feel like this one captures the monster and the setting a lot more than the other 2 poses. An important thing to note if you're using, for any reason, you're going to be displaying this, whether it's for a tabletop setting like I am, or if you just want to display it on a shelf. This is a Leviathan monster, which means it swims in the ocean. So as you can see here, it doesn't look all that well. How should I say this? It doesn't look particularly well shown off. That's simply because it just sits on the table like that. Um, so if you do want to purchase this model and a better way to display it, I recommend finding a different way to support it on a base so that it appears like it is floating or swimming in water. I've had yet to do that. I'm not a good craftsman sort of person, so I'm still trying to figure out the best way to support this larger model and keep it supported. Overall, I really like the model, even though this particular monster, compared to many other monsters in the Monster Hunter series, this particular one lacks a lot of detail that most other ones would. It's mainly because it is designed to be very streamlined compared to most other monsters so that it can swim very well. However, and I do apologize, my camera is not the best. You can see, and I also apologize, this is primed for painting. I have not yet gotten around to it. but you can see here on the beard for the Ceadeus, the individual strands of hair throughout. On the horns, you can see little indentations and grooves. I'm not sure what I'm not sure if it's similar to like a tree trunk showing like the age of the monster, but regardless, you can see the detail here. You can also see on top of its armored plating different individual grooves where the armor overlaps each other, as well as these smaller, let's see if I can get you there, smaller little bumps and grooves on it as well. And going down to the tail, you see the same sort of overlapping armor pieces, and then it comes to a lot more of a streamlined end. But even on the tip of the tail, if you look closely, I'm not sure how well it will show up in the camera. It looks what looks like to be little barnacles on the end of the tail, which I think is a really nice detail, especially for this being a sea-dwelling creature. And the fact that he managed to put that kind of detail on a monster that lacks it most of the time is, I believe, very impressive. But so despite the fact that it's not highly detailed most of the time, Totarin managed to add quite a bit of detail to this model. Now, I don't have any real complaints about the model. For the price you pay, which is $3, I think it's an especially great deal, considering you also get multiple poses in the files when you buy them, not just a single one. The only thing I believe that could be improved upon in this model is the addition of a base, whether it is a base that it sits on that looks more like rocky coral reef areas, but it still appears to be swimming, or if it would be something more akin to it being propped up on its tail, using that as support, but the rest of the body being bent forward to appear like it is swimming. But other than that, I really like the model. I'm really impressed with it. I only encountered one small issue when printing the model, which I believe you can see me attempting to cover it up here. Just a little layer separation here from the resin print. However, that is not by fault of the model. That is my fault for not supporting it properly when I was printing it. Now, I have printed two versions of this. The version you're seeing now is the bigger version that I printed on my father's Elegoo Jupiter 3D printer, and I have a smaller one that I printed myself on my Elegoo Mars 3 Pro. All print settings and the resin that I use can be found below in the description. So overall for this model, I would rate it a solid 9 out of 10. It has 3 high quality posed models that you can get for only $3, paying. And on top of that, the model is very clean. I didn't have to do any sort of repairing or hole filling on the model before printing. Both versions printed extremely well, except for the one error that was on my part for lack of supports. The only thing that could be improved, in my opinion, to give it a 10 out of 10 rating would be the inclusion of a custom base for the monster to sit on to properly display it in either on a shelf for decoration or on a tabletop setting like I use. If you are a fan of 3D printing, and especially Monster Hunter, I highly recommend going and supporting Totarin, as they have multiple other Monster Hunter models, as well as many other models, such as different lizards and other things they have designed. And I tend to review a lot of the ones I have purchased in the future as well. Disclaimer, I am not sponsored or affiliated with Capcom, and this is purely me as a fan expressing my love for the Monster Hunter series. All name, likeness, and IP of the monsters belong to Capcom, and I'm also not sponsored or affiliated with TotarinModels, and I'm simply giving my own personal opinions of their work and encouraging others to give them the support they deserve. That's it for me today. I hope you enjoy and check out TotarinModels for yourself. Happy hunting!